Life is like onions. There's layers. Nobody likes onions. You know what else got layers? Cake. Cake got layers.
Everybody like cake.
Everybody like cake. What up, what up, what up, everybody? You are back in tune with another episode of In the Fields podcast. It is your host, Johnny, with my lovely fiance, soon-to-be wife, Lisa.
That's me.
And yeah, man, you guys are back in tune with another episode. And in this episode, we are going to be exploring the not-so-pretty healing journey, or journey of healing, self-healing. And, I think for everybody that might be different, but I feel also a lot of it, we walk a similar path when, we make similar mistakes or we, come across similar trials and tribulations. And I think that's what I wanted to focus on this episode is, kind of offering our insight as to the healing journey that we took, personally, but also together.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I think I want to start this episode with another AA meeting. And
Love those.
Yeah, those are the best. I'm actually really enjoying those. Guys, if you, for the new feelers in tune, the AA meeting is the anonymous advice meeting. It's where you guys are open to contact us with anything that you guys are going through, especially when it's in regard to an upcoming episode, because we always announce the episode ahead of time of what type of episode or what the topic is going to be about. So this way, you guys at least have some sort of insight. So we usually tell you guys ahead of time, like, hey, we're doing an AA meeting. Episodes about this. If you guys are in a similar situation or something like that, make sure you guys contact us and hit us in the DMs so this way we can offer advice. And again, it's anonymous, so we're not here to tell anybody who it is, but again, we're here to offer our insight because we tell you guys at the end of every episode, you never know when the why and your story is silent, and it's, it could potentially be our story. So a lot of the time, again, we share similar situations, we go through similar things, and yeah, man, this week, again, we're talking about the healing journey, and we did get a submission in the DMs.
Which is messy and beautiful. And
Yep. Yeah, this one was really heartfelt. I think, we felt really related to it, but I also think, too, that, I think you guys are definitely going to relate to it as well. And also, guys, if you see this on the socials, like, make sure you guys drop comments below, things like that, so that this way, you guys can give your feedback on it as well, too. You know what I mean? You never know when the person who submitted this is watching, and, maybe your advice can touch them as well as our advice. So
yeah, that's true.
I'll get right into it, man. So here it goes. It starts with, hi, Lisa and Johnny. I've been a listener of your podcast since it began, and I'm hoping that you can help me with something I'm struggling with. Your upcoming episode on the healing journey not always being pretty is exactly what I needed right now. So I thought I'd submit my story for your AA meeting segment. For the past year, I've been on a very intentional healing journey. After a pretty long-term relationship ended, I realized I had a lot of my own issues to work through. Things like codependency, a deep-seated fear of being alone, and a tendency to put everyone else's needs before my own. I've been going to therapy, journaling, meditating, and really trying to reconnect with myself and understand my patterns. For a while, it felt like I was making incredible progress. I was starting to enjoy my own company. I was setting boundaries with people in my life, and I genuinely felt more confident and at peace than I had in years. I was so proud of the work I was putting in, and I finally felt like I was on the right track. But a few months ago, I started to feel stuck, and lately it feels like I'm not just stuck, but I'm actively regressing. The loneliness has crept back in, and it's hitting me harder than ever. I find myself romanticizing my past toxic relationship, conveniently forgetting all the reasons it ended. I've been isolating myself from friends because I feel like a fraud. I was so vocal about my healing, and now I feel like I'm failing at it. The other night, I did something I'm not really proud of. I was feeling incredibly low and ended up reaching out to my ex. And it wasn't to get back together, but it was that familiar, unhealthy craving for validation from him. We had a brief, emotional, charged conversation that left me feeling even worse and more confused than before. It was a stark reminder of our old dynamic, and I felt so much shame for falling back into that trap. So my question is, how do you keep going on your healing journey when it feels like you're moving backwards? How do you handle these setbacks without completely giving up on yourself? I thought healing was supposed to feel empowering, but right now it just feels messy and discouraging, and I'm scared that I'm just fundamentally broken and that all the work I've been doing was for nothing. Any advice you have would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for everything you do.
That was deep.
Hell yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, we appreciate you. I want to start there. We appreciate you for tuning in. We appreciate you for being vulnerable with us. And just allowing us the time to even, speak on anything that's going on in your life. You know what I mean? I think for the most part, when it comes to the healing journey, again, it's a journey. And like any journey, especially one that you're not taking with a roadmap or a GPS, how you get to the goal or how you get to the end point, it's a trial and error thing. You are gonna have moments where you do need to take, you might have taken 10 steps forward, but then you do have to take 5 or even sometimes 10 or even 20 steps back, because maybe you went down the wrong path and maybe you need to readjust and pivot and kind of, backtrack a little bit in order to move forward. But that's with any journey, again, that you're taking without a roadmap. You don't have a GPS telling you, make a left here and make a right here and do this here, and you don't have that keeping you on track. So because of that, I mean, anybody that's taken any journey without necessarily having a roadmap, like, chances are you're going to get lost on the way, and that's okay. That's normal. And again, these are feelings. Like, it's almost like not feeling motivated. I always tell people, like, consistency outweighs motivation. You're not always going to feel it. You're going to wake up not feeling it some days. But guess what? As long as you're consistent, the results will pay off. And, you've already granted yourself the grace of getting out of a toxic situation. And yes, you might have dipped your toe back into the deep end or into the water because you just probably were seeking some sort of closure or validation that maybe you need to provide for yourself. And I think that's also another thing, is that seeking that external happiness is just never going to work out in your favor. So I think the best thing to do for you is sometimes on your journey, you do need to set up camp, stop, look back, see how far you've come. So this way you can be grateful for the point you are at in your journey. I think gratitude would solve a lot of this, because as much as you feel stuck, you're better off being stuck where you are now than stuck where you were in that toxic relationship. So that's in my personal opinion. I think gratitude would help you a lot in this situation. I think gratitude is something that if you really implement that into your life and look at life through that lens, that stuck feeling you have isn't necessarily stuck. It's maybe you're repositioning, you're pivoting. It's not you're stuck. It's, I have to get my footing better so that I can proceed forward and move forward better. But again, the journey can't end. So you just can't give up on yourself. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say, like, first off, kudos to you for just simply acknowledging the fact that you may have played a part in whatever toxicity was within your relationship, to the point where you felt it was necessary to reach out and get therapy. I've definitely been there. I think that's one of the key things a lot of people tend to, I guess, overlook or refuse to acknowledge, because acknowledging you're part of the problem is never easy. Because again, like I've said in, first couple of episodes, no one's perfect. We all play a part because we're all learning. And, you're taking pretty great strides, pretty great steps doing, the meditation, doing the therapy, journaling is great. But it's important that you understand that, like, your healing, there's so many moving pieces to that, and there's so many things to navigate and get through, that it's almost like one of the longest journeys you're ever going to be on, because there's the emotional side, the physical side, the mental side. There's so many pieces, learning how to self-regulate, learning emotional, intelligence, grounding yourself, just being more aware, and there's so many pieces to it. So I feel like you're definitely on the right path. And like, I always say, just give yourself some grace, because, looking back, 5-year-old person from yourself, 5 years ago, was probably yearning to be the type of person you are today. You probably do feel a lot of weight lifted off your shoulders, and know you might not be 100% where you wished you were, but you're at least on the right track. And like, I hope you just know that you're going down the right path. We all make mistakes. We all slip up. I've definitely had moments where I've definitely contacted an ex because, it's familiar, it's comfort. Even in the toxicness that exists, there's comfort there because you've been in it, it's familiar to you. In some ways, it made you happy. And like he said, maybe you were seeking some validation in that moment. You needed some type of happiness and you're looking outward instead of inward. So next time, just take a step back and be like, maybe ask yourself, like, is this something I really want to do? Is this something I should do? Let me just navigate this a little bit more before I just make rash decisions. But I definitely think you're definitely going down the right path. Definitely give yourself some grace and, yeah, man, it's not an easy thing to do.
That's why it's called the journey, guys. If journeys were easy, everybody would do them. But again, journeys are typically something that takes a while. It's exactly what the fuck the word is, bro. It's a long trip. Like, what else does a journey mean except bro, when I describe a distance and I'm like, bro, that shit is a journey, bro. That means it's far, bro, and it's not convenient or easy to get to.
It's about to be a hike.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And if it's a healing journey, again, journeys are not easy. The good things that you want in life typically are not easy to obtain. So, again, you're on the right path.
I think that's just the first step, though, is knowing that you're not okay.
Yeah.
And that you need to seek some kind of help.
And doing this, this is exactly why we have this.
Communicating.
You know what I mean? Some people aren't comfortable with taking the steps that you took to get therapy. And some people maybe correlate or resonate more with people like us who aren't, I'm not a therapist, but I'm a human being who I think is just a little bit more open about being emotionally intelligent and how important it is in today's time to be emotionally aware. Like you, I know, are on the path of being a therapist, but again, you're not. You're about to be a life coach. I know that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, man, you know what I mean? I think some people resonate with us essentially, and that's why we do these type of things because again, not everybody is brave enough to go to therapy and admit that something's wrong. So yeah, kudos to you, man. You are definitely you're on the right path, and just keep doing what you got to do. Stay beautiful and give yourself grace, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, give yourself a pat on the back, man. And at the end of the day, we're proud of you. If nobody's told you that, we're proud of you. Keep up the good work.
Love that.
And it pays off. The hard work pays off. Yeah, man, that was dope.
Yeah.
If you guys see Thor on the floor is already here. He sees the camera is up, so he is up and active. But yeah, man, before we get into the rest of the episode, let's give him a word from our sponsors. Guys, I've said it time and time again. This is the best lemonade in existence. This is the best lemonade not only here in the 610, not only in the Lehigh Valley, not only in Pennsylvania, not only in the northeastern hemisphere of the motherfucking United States, not only in the United States or North America for that matter, but I'm pretty sure across the entire world. Ooh La Laid, guys. This is made with love, fresh squeezed. I mean, I was literally just at the creator's house today. I saw a plethora of bottles, and if my cat keeps playing with my camera, I am going to call a Chinese restaurant very soon. I'm just kidding, guys. Anyway, Ooh La Laid, the best lemonade in existence. I mean, made with love. So much love in here that when I drink it, I'm pretty sure I fall more deeply in love with my soon-to-be wife, Lisa, because every sip begins with ooh la.
I'm so dead.
Ooh La Laid, guys. Make sure you guys get yours today at ooh_laid. Ooh La Laid, get you laid. You know what I'm saying, baby? Make you go ooh. Now, back to our episode. Yes, sir. We are back with another episode of In the Fields podcast, guys. And yeah, man, like I said, this episode is exploring the beautiful but sometimes ugly and sometimes great but also not so pretty journey of, healing. And, really looking within yourself to bring out the best version of yourself. Because I think at the end of the day, that's the goal of any healing journey, is to tap into that potential that we all have within ourselves.
Yeah. I feel like everybody goes through it differently too. Like I feel like for you, you handle stuff like that very quietly. Like you don't talk about it much. You just do stuff, you know, where I am very vocal about my healing. I do talk about it. I am loud about it. But I don't know if that's because of how proud I am of it that makes me loud about it, or like what it is. But
that kind of seems more like a girl thing. No, I'm not trying to make this a girl versus guy thing.
Probably.
I see a lot when women are on their healing journey. A lot of it is like, today is a new me. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? It's very like, I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm fucking done. Like, it's very like that versus like, you'll see some guy disappear off of social media for 6 months. He comes back and he's fucking built and a totally different person. And now he knows MMA and jujitsu and all this crazy shit. You're like, where the fuck you were a nerd in high school? You were the skinny little dweeb and now you're this fucking jacked fucking boxer. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, just crazy shit. So, yeah, though, like I see that a lot just between guys and girls, period. Like, guys have like a very silent healing journey, and I'd be feeling like, you know, girls have a very not, I don't want to say loud, but like I think too, you guys enjoy the little things, so very small milestones for you add up.
I do love little
versus
things.
I feel like guys are not content until we get very close to the finish line. And then we're like, yeah, dude, I know I've been gone for a minute, but look at me now. You know what I mean?
But I feel like in healing journeys, I don't feel like there really is such a thing as a finish line.
No, I mean, it depends what you would consider healed, though. Because there's a difference between like trying to be a better person because you just want to be better. Like, there's always room for improvement.
Well, yeah.
But to be healed from your traumas, that's a different. Those are two different goals.
There's just so many layers.
I just don't think you can get to the being a better person until you
start healing.
Yeah,
well,
like you're gonna hit the finish line of, yo, I'm finally content with the shit that's happened in my past. I'm content with the trauma. I've healed from that, which will now allow me this new perspective or this new outlook, or now I have the motivation, or now I have forgiven those or myself. Like,
yeah, we've talked about that in other episodes too, about like forgiveness and gratitude and, you know, there's just so many layers to the entire thing as a whole.
I mean, it's life, dude. Life is like onions. There's layers. Nobody likes onions. You know what else got layers? Cake. Cake got layers.
Everybody like cake.
Everybody like cake. Nah, but yeah, bro, that's life, bro. Life is just again, it's I don't want to say like the goalpost is constantly moving, but because of the fact that
in a way it is.
But because of the fact that we are so potentially full creatures, like we do have a very limitless potential. Like I see life as every day that I wake up as an opportunity, yes, to be better, but also to just, again, stop. Potential is like wasted energy. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like wasted talent. You know what I mean? If you're not doing something with that potential, and you're not trying to bring that out of you, you know what I mean? Then it goes to waste. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think the big one is, again, just tapping into that and wanting to be better. But again, there's just layers to that. Healing to me is the first one, is like the first goal, essentially, that I think a lot of people don't get to until later in their life, unfortunately. You know what I mean? You don't realize the trauma and the triggers. You don't know how to label it. So the healing journey becomes something that just, again, it's difficult to start as well, you know? Your ego gets in the way at times, you know what I mean? Again, it's like hard to admit that you're wrong. Sometimes it's hard to look within yourself and find the flaws, because if you don't think you're wrong, you could never be corrected. You know what I'm saying? I could never tell if you don't think you're wrong, or if you don't think you did something wrong.
It's not gonna matter what anybody else is saying.
I can't hold you accountable. I can just make you aware. You have to hold you accountable.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all I can do is make you aware of what you did. Whatever you attach to that, whether your moral compass says that was right, that was wrong, that's.
But I feel like it's bigger than just holding yourself accountable. It's also making strides to be better and make better decisions. Because if you, like, say you hold yourself accountable, so to speak, but yet you continue down the same path, are you really holding yourself accountable then? Because
no, you're not.
You're
just saying out loud what you did was wrong. But if you're this is the thing.
It's not a mistake anymore.
It's a mistake. The first time you do it, shit. I'll even give you the second, even the third time. Let's call 3 strikes and you're out. After three mistakes, after that, I'm sorry. Everything after that, bro, is choice. It's all choice and decision. If I'm being honest, if I'm being quite frank.
But I give people grace. Like, people are not perfect.
Mistakes to me are poor decisions.
Yeah. 100%.
But at the end of the day, a decision nonetheless.
Yeah.
So again, it's accountability. That's something we can obviously deep dive into a whole nother episode of just accountability, whether it's with yourself or with others.
I mean, it's a huge part of healing, really.
Yeah.
Because as beautiful as healing is and can be, a lot of it can be painful. Because it is hard for you to really take accountability and be self-aware of where you've been wrong or who you've made, like, hurt, or, bad decisions that you can't take back. They're already done. And it's, acknowledging those things and being like, yeah, I did that, but that doesn't make me a bad person. That's not who I want to be. I can learn from this. I can grow from this. But you can't make those decisions unless you're willing to be self-aware and hold yourself truly accountable for the things that you may have done or chosen to do. And then when you sit back and you start to realize, like, hey, like, I may have these patterns. I keep ending up in these situations. It's really in those moments that you're like, okay, what is going on with me? Like, where is this stemming from? Why do I keep doing this? Because a lot of the time it happens from your subconscious. A lot of the time you don't even realize. People aren't even self-aware of what they're doing sometimes because it's just natural out of habit to do certain things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I saw something and I learned the other day that for the majority of your life, most of your decisions are emotional based because the front part of your brain isn't even fully developed until you're late in your, like, mid-20s or later in life for guys most of the time.
I know. I just got smart.
It's crazy. But, like, scientifically, like, most of your life, you're not even making decisions with your decision part of your brain.
I think we saw that clip together where it was like, this is why when you talk to your kid and you go, well, why did you do that? And they go, I don't know. They really don't fucking know. Yeah, bro, I know. That blew my fucking mind. And then I backtracked to all those times where I said, like, I don't know isn't a fucking answer.
Yeah, I felt so bad.
And then I was like, damn.
They really didn't know.
Whole time, y'all just about as fucking sharp as a marble. You know what I mean? Like, whole time, you're just a sack of bricks. I got it. You really didn't know. You just did.
Yeah, but it was surprising to me, too, because I didn't know that throughout all those years, you're making those decisions with the emotional part of your brain.
Fight or flight decisions a lot of the time.
A lot of it triggers your nervous system, and now your nervous system is learning all these responses and all this stuff to your so-called triggers that subconsciously, even though now later in life that front part is now developed, your body's already so regulated to all these things you've experienced throughout life. You have to
it's the front part, that's the
your
front
frontal lobe. Yeah. But now
that's crazy, though, because I feel like the girls with the big foreheads are the craziest.
Oh, my God.
And the front of their head
You are
seems
the
so
worst.
much more developed than you would think that they would be logically sound.
You're the worst. I can't.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, throughout the majority of your life, your body is regulating and learning all these, tics and behaviors and all these things to protect yourself, to keep you safe, that a lot of the time you're not even self-aware. So it is important to start noticing, oh, hey, I have these patterns. I'm doing this. I keep ending up in these situations. What do I do? Where do I turn? Seeking therapy might not be a bad idea. Finding your favorite podcast to listen to. Like, I turned to Mel Robbins. I love listening to her podcast.
Yeah. My guy Suave just sent me something. I forget the guy's name. Is it Alan Wake? I forget who it is, but yeah, he sent me.
That sounds familiar.
Okay, yeah, he just sent me. He said, yo, bro, I be listening to this a lot of the time when I get stuck. And I was like, I like that.
And that's a good way for you too, because a lot of people don't feel comfortable going to therapy or sitting down with somebody that they don't really know. And just because as much as I'm all about mental health and I'm going to school to be some sort of therapist, therapy never worked for me.
Yeah.
My mom had me in therapy when I was young. And I tried throughout some of my adulthood, but for me, something about it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, I want to get into psychedelic assisted therapy. Like when I think I do want to go back to school for that.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Love
Because that would be something that I would look into, because I just feel like, again, there's a certain demographic of people, like you said, who just don't.
They're just not comfortable.
They're just not comfortable with a typical therapeutic setting, you know? And again, it's very hard to disarm yourself of like your ego, or like disarm yourself of the wall that you put up between your emotions and other people. Yeah. It's hard to do that with a stranger, you know? I mean, shit, bro. It took us a very long time before the walls were down. Like it took us, like, I would say like probably 3-4 years, like almost, like I would say like three years. And then one night the walls came down, bro. And I learned more about you in one night that, you know, than I did in our entire relationship to that point. You know what I mean? Because again, it's hard to really disarm yourself. We as a, we just, again,
we have defense mechanisms.
Because of all the decisions we had made prior that were emotionally driven, like you said, and not having the logically sound portion of our brain developed yet, you know, a lot of the time we're defending ourselves, we're protecting ourselves, or we feel the need to like vulnerability is seen as a weakness, you know? And I think it's just, I guess if you're talking about war, like, oh yeah, the weak side is vulnerable, like, sure, that's weakness, but like, we're talking about human connection here, bro. The only way to really deepen that human connection is through vulnerability and transparency, you know? And
I always thought it was easier to talking to somebody who could relate to me. Because if you can't relate, how could you even begin to understand? Like, you may understand, like, maybe the scientific side of things or whatever, but what is that going to do for me? Because I might not understand that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and low-key, I think that's part of, like, that's kind of was, like, always the silent mission with creating this podcast. Yeah, that's just, that's anybody over the age of 30 or knees crack, dude. Like, that's... Crazy. Shit, look, Eric, the mic probably didn't pick that up, but my guy Eric Rose is on the cam right now, making sure the video's good. Man went to go look, sat back down, his knee said, yo, we some old motherfuckers, yo.
Oh, shit.
But nah, like I was saying, low key, I think that's kind of like the underlying mission of our podcast too. Like you said, it's hard to talk to people you don't relate to, and that's why I always say, like, at the end of the podcast, you never know when the why and your story is silent, because yo, a lot of us are like, bro, if we were all so fucking different, we wouldn't all use similar words or verbiage to describe our feelings. We wouldn't all use similar words to describe our experiences.
A lot of people have the same diagnoses.
Yeah, everything. Diagnoses. It's just diagnoses.
I know.
Diagnoses. My flow's so sick. You know this shit. Sorry. You were going Feminem for a second. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I got Thor's back. But yeah, man, like that's kind of like the underlying mission is like, you know, we do this because, again, you never know when the why in your story is silent, and it's our story. That's why we want to build this community, because, again, you know, like the person who shared for the AA meeting, like, bro, there could be other people who are experiencing that shit. I'm kind of experiencing this, like, yo, I'm on my healing journey, and like, I got to a point where I was very content with like my fitness journey, let's just say my fitness portion of healing. You know what I mean? Because that too was a part of my healing journey. And I kind of got stagnant. You know what I mean? So I felt that, like, when you're like, yo, stuck, and I'm stuck, I'm trying to find the motivation. I'm going back into my old habits. I'm fucking eating Uncrustables at like 1 a.m. and like, what the fuck am I doing?
I wake up. Yeah, I'm like, bro, when did you go down and grab a whole bowl of cereal?
Yeah, it just happens. I don't know, bro. So yeah, I've been fucking up lately, but I'm trying to get back on it. And I mean, we're going to the gym after we shoot this, so I'm going to the gym after I shoot this. I don't know what your headphones are dead, so you might not go, but I'm going.
I'm
but yeah,
sit
man.
And watch Ashanti.
But yeah, the journey, you know, it's a journey nonetheless, and that's just what it is, guys. Like, it's something that It's hard. You're going to need to take a break sometimes. You might go down the wrong path. That's just bound to happen.
One of the biggest portions of that, though, is digging into your traumas, facing things you don't want to face, because those are what a lot of your triggers stem from. That's where a lot of your bad decision making stem from.
Yeah, and then
it's unhealed parts of things that you just refuse to address or acknowledge, because to you it might be easier to just bury it.
And some people might have to unpack shit. You might have to dig shit, and some people don't. There's like some people who just have like again, they just don't think they're wrong. So like they need like maybe a moral compass adjustment. Some other people compartmentalize and they bury shit.
Yeah, there's a ways to like black out your memories.
Yo, no, I know. Certain things, that's a defense mechanism. We try to forget shit we don't like. Yeah. But in doing so, like you again can
the long-term
can bury that mine, that bomb. You can bury that very deep underground, and then
you forgot where it was, and then you're gonna
step on that bitch, and then.
Yep, and then you're like,
you the
why
big
did
stepper
that happen?
on the landmine here. So, yeah, man, it's the healing journey is it's a journey, and any journey, especially one that does not have a roadmap, because again, your journey is different from my journey, which is different from your journey, and everybody else's journey.
It just has similarities.
Yeah, like we're gonna cross paths, but a lot of the time, it's very unique to every individual. Everybody has their own traumas and triggers. I'm not saying we don't all experience similar shit, but again, it's a journey without a roadmap. It's a journey without a GPS. And I would dare anybody in today's time to go anywhere without a fucking GPS and tell me you don't get lost.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right, then. So again, don't be too heavy on yourself, guys. If you know you're on the journey, that's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is knowing that you're on it. Is that you know that you're pushing forward from whatever shitty point you were at.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. You guys should be happy to be on the journey and really trust the process and fall in love with the progress.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Because again, you know, yeah, it's going to be dope when you get to the end and you're like, yo, I'm fucking finally like free of those restrictions and I'm healed and like that's dope. But the work that you put in and the time, the effort, the glow up, you know what I mean? Like really love that shit, because that was you being your strongest self and you really loving yourself, you know? You really saying, yo, I got me.
Yeah.
No matter what. Yeah, man. It's dope. Hey, guys, you know what time it is, right? Question time. Go ahead. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You could go first this time.
All right, cool. Let me see what I got for you. All right. So, guys.
Do it.
You already know what time it is. It's question time. For all the new feelers that are tuned in, me and my lovely fiance, soon-to-be wife, Lisa, we kind of go back and forth and we ask each other engaging questions about the topic of the episode. And yeah, you know, you guys already know what the topic is. It is about the healing journey. I'll go first. My first question is, do you believe healing is about fixing what's broken, or is it more about integrating our broken pieces and learning to live with our scars?
That's a good question.
In a made of rubber.
I mean, I would have to lean more towards the second part, just because I don't feel like a lot of time you can't always fix what's broken. Like, you may drop a glass and you can maybe glue most of the pieces together, but there's going to be some missing chunks that you just can't find because they were either too small, the crack just doesn't fit right. Like, you're never going to be able to fully fix something that's broke. But I think the beauty in that, though, is taking those pieces and making something new that could also be beautiful out of what was broken. Like, it may not be exactly what it was prior, but now it looks even better. Like, I'm glad that broke, because if that hadn't broke, I wouldn't have been able to build this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I would almost want to say that that's kind of like innovating yourself. Yeah. Like, imagine, like, you know, what used to be an old Western saloon that got tore down, and then it got turned into, like, a town. And then that got tore down and destroyed, and then that got turned into a city. You know what I mean? And now they tear down the building and they build something new and fresh. You know what I mean? So yeah, like innovating yourself.
And I think it's dope too when you can look at those things, because I think that's a part of you growing wiser, because you're seeing multiple different angles of situations. Like, you've been here where it was really dark and really cloudy all the time. It was painful. But then you were here where it felt a little bit better, still a little issues. But then you got into this point where it's like sunshine and rainbows almost every day. And you're like, yo, I really fuck with this. Like, I'm so glad I got here. But it's like you can look at all those different aspects and it helps you navigate life a little bit easier because a lot of things you're like, oh, that looks familiar. Not doing that. I already been there, done that. I'm going over here. Like it helps you just put things into a better perspective. So I think although trauma sucks, going through really shitty things suck, I think a lot of it sometimes too is important and necessary for just your overall being because, you know, it's kind of impossible to not experience anything bad.
Well, how do you gain resilience? How do you gain perseverance if you don't experience
some kind of pain?
Opposite force. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm going forward and I don't experience something that's meant to push me back, how do I gain strength?
Yeah.
Helps
you gain a lot of love for yourself.
Yeah. You can't gain any strength if you're not carrying any weight. Fucking quotes, baby.
That was a really good question.
Thanks, man. I tried. I want to keep them engaging for you. I want to,
get the wheels turning.
Yeah, baby. I'm trying to get some brain. Oh, that's not a good way to put that. I meant I'm trying to.
I can't stand.
I'm trying to see what's on your mind. I want to like pull your brain, like pick your brain. You know what I mean? Or like pull what's out of your mind.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. What's something you've learned about yourself when you've been at your most vulnerable during your healing process?
Repeat it one more time so that I want to make sure I capture the question correctly. What's
something that you've learned about yourself when you've been at your most vulnerable during a healing process or through your healing process?
One thing I learned about myself, probably early too, is I was good at articulating whatever the fuck was really going on inside of my head and my heart. You know what I mean? Granted, through that ability to articulate myself, I learned to become more emotionally aware, and I learned to be able to pinpoint things and like start to put them out, like get them out, basically. So that's really what I learned about myself, was just my ability to articulate it and how essential that became to my healing journey. Because again, we've mentioned it time and time and time and time again. Communication is everything. Yeah. Communication is key.
I've always found it impressive though how like you could talk about emotional stuff but be so logical about discussing it.
It's because my frontal lobe is developed now, baby.
That was a good callback.
I'm saying because my shit is big now. You know, I could smoke a cigarette in the rain. That's how big my frontal lobe is, dude. No, but for real, I just think too, it's just through conversation and through communication that, you know, you can gain insight. You gain the ability to create resolution and unpack. And, you know, again, I haven't always been able to easily talk about emotional shit. Like, I mean, shit, on the last episode, there was, you know, you asked a question which kind of just hit a soft spot, you know? So, but again, it's essential to life. Communication is key. It's not just even about emotions, but essentially that was the one thing I learned when I've had that moment, you know, vulnerability, or just kind of like being in my healing journey, was articulating it is what you need to do.
I like that.
Hell yeah, man. That was a good question.
Impressive.
All right, let's see. Question number 2. Besides sadness, what's an unexpected emotion that came up for you during your healing? Was it intense anger, jealousy, or even boredom?
Besides sadness.
Yeah. Besides sadness.
Pain.
Okay. In what regard? Like, what kind of pain? Like, obviously sad, like pain is like physical, like pain. People think pain receptors. Like, was it like
internal pain of like,
what was it stemming from? Sorry, I don't want to keep like trying to unpack the question.
It's just acknowledging like
from the accountability of like being like, yo, I fucked up, or shit like that, or
that, the trauma, the stuff like, how do I put this? Like how I said, a lot of the stuff you experience kind of just sits subconsciously that causes triggers. So when you're in certain situations, your nervous system flares up and you either, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, like one of those. And when you don't know how to self-regulate, but once I got into my healing journey, I started unpacking those things, addressing them, learning how to, apologize or say sorry or gave forgiveness, whatever the steps were that I had to take, but it wasn't an easy process. That was part of the hardest part of my healing journey. Like, granted, I'm past all that now, so now it's a lot easier for me, and now I feel a lot of happiness.
Glowing, shall I say.
I've definitely feel like this, it's, flipped now. Like, now I am very happy and at peace and comforted in my healing process. And now I'm learning other parts of myself that still need work, to be done. But I think definitely when it started, it was very painful and it was hard.
Yeah.
So, but it was worth it. I don't regret it for a second. I avoided it for a really long time. No regrets.
Not one letter.
Great movie.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I avoided it for a long time because I didn't want to unpack those things. I didn't want to address them.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I'm here though. So,
I'm glad you're here too.
Hard work pays off.
Fuck yeah. That's a good answer, man. I like that. What you got for me?
What role does self-compassion play when you're navigating the less glamorous parts of healing?
It's crazy that you would ask me this question coming from the lady who's like, give yourself grace. That's literally self-compassion, is literally telling yourself, like, it's okay. You don't need to be so hard on yourself. I mean, it plays the most essential role. You are your toughest critic at the end of the day, so you're going to be harder on yourself than most people, especially because you can listen to me talk for 5-10 minutes and I can complain about whatever the issue I'm having, but then it's your inner dialogue that stays with you for God knows how long. Like, dude, there's times where we've gotten into an argument and then you've texted me like 24 hours later, like, I'm really sorry about yesterday. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even fucking mad about that shit anymore. Like, but again, your inner dialogue going like, you really did something wrong yesterday. Look, could you reflect back on that conversation? Did you really carry yourself the best way that you could? And da-da-da-da-da. Again, you are your toughest critic. So you would say it the best, give yourself some grace. That's the self-compassion that you need to have when it comes to the healing journey. If you're so fucking hard on yourself, you're either going to revert back to who you were before the journey started, or you're going to get stagnant, or something's going to happen if you're not, something. It's never like a positive if you're not compassionate with yourself. You know what I mean? If you're not able to give yourself grace or be self-compassionate, then again, you just are going to be too hard on yourself, and you might overthink it. Yeah. A lot of people who aren't self-compassionate are typically the overthinkers. They always think they're doing something wrong. They always think it's their fault. And again, within that,
that's still a part of
within
me.
That self-compassion, though, you're able to, take a step back. You're not so close to the situation. And again, you're able to give yourself grace and, really look at things as a whole. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's essential to the healing journey. I like that. That would be a question you would come up with. That fucking give yourself grace over here.
It's something I learned in my healing journey.
All right, let's take a look. All right. My last question is, can you describe a moment when you responded to a situation in a new, healthier way and you consciously thought, wow, the work is actually working?
Yeah.
Hit me with it. What was it?
Plenty of times.
Share it. Share.
The biggest one that stands out for me is when a friend of mine really hurt me by something that they did. Mm-hmm. And the old Lisa would have, had a lot of attitude about the situation.
Yeah.
Would have been ready to fight. Would have acted ridiculous. Would have been super petty. Would have just made it worse. 100% would have made it worse.
Yeah.
But instead, I was just very much like, this isn't for me. I didn't do anything to deserve this. And I'm just no longer going to invest my time in this friendship, because if you were my friend, this wouldn't have even transpired. because a real friend wouldn't do that. And it hurt, but I didn't dwell on it. I didn't let it linger for long. I moved past it, and I was fine. And to me, that was super impressive because I wouldn't have ever been able to do that 5-6 years ago.
Good shit, baby.
Thanks.
My inner bestie is like, yes, bitch.
Progress.
Period. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit, bro. It's so funny. All right, what you got for me?
Beyond the tears, what are some of the less visible but equally difficult aspects of healing that people often don't see? Like, besides just crying.
The fucking healing fatigue, bro. I don't think people realize how exhausting it is. It's a fucking journey. Again, guys, I don't know how many fucking times I'm going to say this. No journey is easy. And
sometimes
bro,
you need a nap.
It's fucking exhausting, bro.
It is.
Dude, trying, like you said, not being your petty self and fucking, which sometimes comes so fucking natural to just be.
The urge in
bro,
me?
Sometimes.
I gotta tell myself.
Have you ever heard your inner dialogue say it mad loud in your brain, like respond to somebody and then be like, never mind, it's whatever, it's cool, all right, cool, no worries. But in your brain, you're like, yo, motherfucker, that's fuck. Yo, I mean, like you so just fucking aggressive. But bro, I don't understand. Like again, it's the fucking healing fatigue, and I don't think people really talk about it, bro. Like,
no,
they don't talk about how exhausting it is to being on this journey, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna start hitting the gym now, I'm gonna start waking up early, I'm gonna start fucking doing this, and then the exhaustion of trying to find the advice that even fits your fucking situations, and you don't know what's right and what's wrong because you're like, oh, I mean, should I do this? Should I be that? Should I, like, the whole figuring it out, the fucking, again, the journey itself is exhausting.
And being able to push through that, because I know that was one of my issues with the gym, is like, I know that I need to eat a certain way and I need to count this and count that, but I also have to eat healthy. Did you take your vitamins today? I did take my vitamins today.
Hey, you asked me to hold you accountable, so I'm just asking. But again, it's fucking exhausting. And it takes a village. Again, that's why we do this for each other. You remind me to do shit millions of times, and you'll text me the other day like, hey, make sure you fucking get it done. Like, I mean, like, we do that because, again, the journey, any journey, it doesn't even have to be just healing. The fucking, my fitness journey, exhausting. Your fitness journey, exhausting. Like, these things are tiring because, bro, it's a lot of effort, and it's really hard to unlearn habits and behaviors and then relearn new shit. The older you get.
Starting fresh.
Yeah, like trying to pave a new way for yourself is not easy. So, yeah, I would think that's the one, like, besides just sadness and tears and shit. Like, granted, we've shed them all. You know what I mean? We've both shed tears during the journey.
Sometimes you need a just good cry.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just let it out, man. And sometimes, a lot of it is like the last straw that breaks the camel's back type shit. But
we just talked about that, too, in last episode.
So, yeah, man, the whole just overall exhaustion of it can really get to you. It can intimidate you from wanting to even continue the journey. So, yeah, that would be the one that I would say for sure.
I really like that.
Oh yeah, man, that was a good fucking question. I liked this question time. It was very engaging and very engaging of my frontal lobe, which is now fully developed. If you didn't know. Nah, but for real, guys, again, it's a journey nonetheless, and it's never going to be easy or pretty, but essential, and I think it makes life that much more beautiful. Yeah, man. All right, well, let's take them home. You guys already know how we finish every episode. We leave you guys with a question that you guys can answer. So if you see these clips on YouTube or on social media, make sure you guys drop your answers below. Because, again, you never know when the why in your story is silent and it becomes our story. And, yeah, man, that's the community we want to build. This way, again, we're not alone. And, here's the question that we're going to leave you guys with. So this week, we want you guys to ask yourselves this. If you treated yourself with the same compassion, patience, and encouragement that you would offer to a dear friend going through a hard time, what is the one thing you would do differently for yourself tomorrow? Because a lot of the times, we give people advice, but we suck at taking it. And again, guys, Make sure you guys drop it in the comments below. Until next time, guys, keep feeling,
Keep sharing,
and keep it real within the feels. I liked this episode.
You like every episode.
I mean, we're pretty fucking cool.